The Cleveland Browns are back in the headlines, and not for the reasons fans hoped. In a stunning press conference, head coach Kevin Stefanski made it crystal clear that Joe Flacco, not Shadur Sanders, will serve as the team's backup quarterback behind Dylan Gabriel. "Joe's the backup," Stefanski said bluntly, shutting down all speculation with just 3 words. No hesitation, no explanation, just finality. But that short statement sent shockwaves through the NFL community. Analysts, former players, and fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. How could Stefanski bypass a young, hungry talent like Shadur Sanders in favor of a veteran clearly past his prime? To many, the decision feels personal, or at least political. Joe Flacco has been in the league long enough to know Father Time has caught up to him. His arm isn't what it once was, and even he seems content to play a mentorship role, contributing from the sidelines while younger quarterbacks take the reins. So why keep him in the QB2 spot instead of promoting the dynamic Sanders? That's the question that's got everyone talking. Cam Newton, never one to mince words, was one of the first to call out the Browns' head coach. Newton ripped into Stefanski's decision, saying that Shadur Sanders was being treated unfairly. To Newton, this isn't about skill or readiness, it's about control. He pointed out that Shedeur is the first 5th-round, 3rd-string quarterback in NFL history to command such passionate fan support. That kind of attention makes people nervous, especially within an NFL system that prefers predictability over disruption. Newton argued that the league and teams like Cleveland aren't comfortable with a young player commanding that level of influence this early in his career. They want order, not energy. They want silence, not swagger. But Newton wasn't alone. Stephen A. Smith quickly joined the conversation, delivering his own fiery take. According to Stephen A., Shedur's position on the depth chart isn't just about football, it's about perception and politics. He reminded viewers that Sanders wasn't drafted in the 5th round because of a lack of talent, but because of the baggage that comes with being Deion Sanders' son. Teams were hesitant to deal with the attention, the spotlight, and the potential power shift that comes with that famous last name. Smith argued that the residue of that narrative still lingers today. "This isn't about football anymore," he said passionately on First Take. "This is about people trying to control the story around Shadur Sanders." Stephen A. went further, suggesting that Stefanski's choice to keep Shedeur at QB3 was a strategic move to suppress his rise. The Browns, in his view, are afraid of letting Sanders take over too soon. They want to keep the noise quiet, to control the excitement building around him before it becomes unstoppable. But that approach might already be failing. Because if there's one thing this league has learned, it's that you can't stop a movement once the fans take charge. And right now, the fans are rallying behind Shedeur like never before. Social media has become a war zone of opinions, hashtags, and highlight clips. Fans point out that while the Browns' offense has looked stagnant, Shedeur's poise and precision in practice speak volumes. They're tired of excuses. They want change. They want their guy on the field. Stephen A. Smith said it best. The more inept the Browns' offense looks, the less of an excuse you have not to play him. Shadur himself has started to make his feelings known, breaking his usual composure to admit his frustration with the situation. In interviews, he's made it clear that he's done waiting for permission to compete. "Overall, this isn't my end goal," he said, trying to keep his tone measured but his message firm. "I'm learning, I'm doing what I have to do, and I'm ready for my opportunity." But when pressed further, Shedeur didn't hide his confidence. "If you see the quarterback play in the league right now," he said, "I know I'm capable of doing better than that." It wasn't arrogance, it was belief. The kind of belief that great players have before the rest of the world catches up. Behind closed doors, there are whispers that Stefanski's refusal to promote Shadur might be less about readiness and more about control. The Browns, like many NFL teams, have long battled their own chaos. They're desperate for stability, and perhaps that's exactly why they're hesitant to unleash a player as charismatic and independent as Sanders. He doesn't just play football. He draws attention, shifts narratives, and commands loyalty. For an organization that's spent years trying to manage the headlines, that's both powerful and dangerous. But this approach may backfire spectacularly. The more they try to contain Shedeur, the bigger the storm becomes. Fans are demanding to see him play. Analysts are questioning the coaching staff's motives. And every week that Cleveland's offense struggles without him, the calls for change grow louder. You can feel the pressure building. And as Stephen A. warned, the Browns can only hold off that storm for so long. The Browns front office insists it's all part of the plan, that Shadur's time will come, that he's learning that patience is key. But for many, those explanations sound like stalling tactics. They've seen what he can do. They know what's coming, and they're tired of waiting. Even Joe Flacco, by most accounts, understands his role as a stopgap. He's not the future. He knows it. The fans know it. The media knows it. The only ones pretending otherwise seem to be in charge of the depth chart. The irony is that Shedur's confidence, the same quality critics use against him, might be exactly what this team needs. The Browns have talent but no spark. Leadership but no energy. Shadur brings both. He has the presence to unite a fractured locker room and the charisma to reignite a fan base desperate for hope. But until he's given that chance, the debate will rage on, and that's where you come in. Because in today's NFL, fan voices matter more than ever. Teams hear the noise. Ownership sees the hashtags. Coaches feel the pressure. If Cleveland's fans want to see Shedeur on the field, they'll have to make that demand impossible to ignore. The louder the crowd, the faster the change. So now the question is yours. Is Kevin Stefanski's decision to keep Shadur Sanders sidelined about football, or is it something deeper? Is this just part of a rookie's natural progression, or is it a deliberate attempt to suppress a young star's rise before it upends the hierarchy? And most importantly, can the fans force the Browns' hand? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe Shadur Sanders deserves his shot? Should the Browns finally hand him the reins and see what he can do? Drop your thoughts, hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Because this story is far from over.